Welcome CSC103 W1 and W2 for fall 2021. Last spring I used to have a remote course, and what we used to do during the remote class is I do kind of a team meeting, and that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to give you a little overview of what's coming up for Unit 2 because we're finishing up on Unit 1. And let me just show you a couple things here if you're looking at Unit 1. Remember the student survey and the pretest. Once you do them, I'll update your grade. So if you get a 0 or anything or an F or anything, you'll have 100% on both of those. So don't worry about that stuff. Your student introduction, get that done first. You don't need the picture right away. That's part of our first assignment. Email confirmation, I think I have 2 in the one class and I have 4 in the other class. I'll put your names in an announcement just so that if you see the announcement, you'll know that you're someone who didn't reply to my email for whatever reason, and we'll figure it out. So don't think it's a big deal. We'll just get it figured out unless you're dropping the class or something like that. Also, your first quiz now, originally all these dates had September 21 and this now has September 15th. Don't freak out because I always put an extra week in the quiz so that it won't close the 15th. There'll be an extra week, so it'll actually close the 22nd. So make sure you get this done this week. Just because I had that extra time in there, I'll give you another week to do it. But get that done because we're starting Unit 2. And also the Photopia assignment is one where you're just kind of cropping and resizing your photo. It's giving you a little introduction to Photopia, which we're going to do in the next unit. So let me show you the next unit, and that's what I'm really going to go over right now. And there's nothing there because they're not open yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my view, and this is what I see. And because they're all in italic, they're not open yet, but I'll open them all up. Now there's 3 exercises here, hands-on exercises that are going to be in Photopia, which is like a Photoshop type application that you could use in a web browser. Now Yellow Teeth is a real quick kind of editing exercise where you're just going to make teeth white and you're going to crop it a little bit. And you're going to practice kind of sharing your image when you're done. And there's videos for all that, so I'm not going to go over everything in the video, but because some of those videos have some older information in them, I just wanted to give you this little overview. So there's Yellow Teeth, Dog Soccer, and Kids on Beach. And there'll be videos from them, and some of the content is from fall 2020, some is from spring 2021, so there'll be some minor changes in there. And then also there's a quiz, which is going to be about these exercises. So they're not going to be from reading, they'll be from the things you did in there. So if you do the exercises, then the quiz will be on the exercises. And then there's also just a little discussion board that's reviewing the stuff you did in there, asking you about it. So these are the exercises for Unit 2. Now they'll open up 9/15, which is Wednesday the 15th. And they're due Wednesday the 22nd. We'll go unit to unit, week to week. Now, if it's a quiz like pixel editing, you'll have an extra week to do that, but it'll still say it's due the 22nd. So try to get it done by then. I mean, you don't want to start overlapping things. You want to get each unit done. And there's really not that much to do in each unit, even though it seems like a lot. If we are in class, we get this all done in class pretty easy. But this is what's coming up. And a couple things I just want to point out with these Photopia assignments, just so when you see the videos, you know where everything's at. So you're going to go in here in an assignment and you'll see some instructions in there, but where you're going to find things for these 3 assignments is documents and resources. When you go into Unit 2, you'll see here's one for Yellow Teeth, here's one for Dog Soccer, here's one for Kids on Beach cloning. Now, these are PDFs, so in Chrome, you should be able to click on these and open them up, and these are your written instructions. You could print them out if you want, whatever. So, and these are for both classes, the W1 and W2. And I'll go over a couple things here because there's a couple different ways you could do stuff on here, and I'll point that out. But these are the written instructions. You could keep them open. And then also over here in the description, you'll see video is posted in here. So for this particular one, there's a video, and if you click on here, you'll see the playlist. And that video will be the Yellow Teeth Photopia, and you could watch that video. I'm not going to click on here and go through the video right now, but that's the video for Yellow Teeth. That's the video for Dog Soccer. That's the video for Photopia Kids on Beach. And keep in mind, they're older videos. Sometimes I edit them, I add some new content, but these are older from fall 2020, and they should be fine other than a couple little things that it'll mention in there, and that's why I'm going to go over that right now. Now, also, another thing, to get photos to use, there's a Google Photos link. They all mention this Google Photos link, and here it is down here. It's actually showing it down here. The other ones don't have it. But if you can't find it, it's actually under Bookmarks. So if you go to Bookmarks, that's where you're going to find the Google Photo link. And it's the same one for all 3 exercises. So if I just click on one, it'll open in a new tab. And I just want to mention a couple things. Okay, here's your video that you can watch. Here's your written instructions. this is the link where you're going to get a photo from. And when you're working in Photopia, I'll go to another tab here and I'll just launch Photopia, and it's really easy to work with Photopia. And again, if you're working in Edge or Internet Explorer and you have any problems, I'd recommend working in Chrome. I think you're just going to have a better experience. But I mean, try it that way first. But if you have any issues, try it in Chrome. Now I'm going to go to Photopia. Now, I'll just point out 2 ways you can open a file. In the instructions, it says file open from URL, and that means opening the image address, meaning you don't have the image on your computer, it's online. So what you could do is if you go to here, and let's say you want to open this one of Drew Barrymore. Now, every time you do this, make sure you do this. Make sure you click on the image first. Don't just right-click on the image. Click on the image and isolate it. And then you could do 2 things. You could right-click on here and say copy image address, and I'll choose copy image address. That's the URL. That's this thing up here where it is. So I'll copy image address. I'll go to Photopia and I'll say open. Now they have open more, open from URL. Now that's the image address. So open from URL, and I'll paste it in here, and you could do Control V on Windows or Command V on Mac, and then you could just hit OK. Now that'll open it up, and it gets this weird name because it gets the URL. You could always change the name here by double clicking on it and just call it, Yellow Teeth or something like that. Or you could give it a name when you export it. That's all you have to worry about right now. It's going to be a PSD while you're working in here, but then when you export it as a JPEG, it'll be a JPEG. And that's what you're going to turn in. So that's one way to do it. Now I'm going to close this up. And another way to do it also, if you go to this link, now keep in mind, in the video, it'll say like spring 2021 or fall 2020. I updated this, so you'll see the new link. But again, make sure that you always click on the image first. And this time, instead of going open image address, I could say copy image. Now, if you go copy image and you go to Photopia, you could go file new, and it'll actually make a project the same size as the image you just copied. Now you have to copy it first. And then if you hit create, don't worry about any of this stuff here, just hit create. And then you paste. You could go edit, paste. It'll paste it in, and it pastes it in as a layer above the background. And it calls it new project. So again, if you want to double click over here and call it Yellow Teeth, that's fine. That's 2 ways you can kind of get an image in there from online. You could open the URL itself, or you could copy image and paste it in here in kind of a new project. And I just wanted to point that out because I think on the notes I just have 1 way to do it. You could do it 2 ways. So I just want to point that out in case I don't update these notes here. But that's where you're going to find everything. So I'll close this up. And, then once you're done with this, you could go back if you need to open anything up. If you're going to work on the dog picture, uses 2 of these. And I go over how to do that in the video, so I'm not going to do that right now. And then also the other one uses this. I just wanted to point that out, that it now says fall 2021, even though in the video it'll say like fall 2020 or spring 2021. It's the same images. So you just have to get that from Documents and Resources, Bookmarks. So I'm going to close that up. And obviously this is your playlist. This is Photopia, and I'll leave this. I don't have to save anything there. Now, I'm going to go back here. Remember, this is Bookmarks, and this is where it has the links to Google Photos, where you could find those photos. And Handouts, if you remember, that's where you'll find the PDF instructions. Whenever you need a PDF, you just click on it here. It should open a new window. The playlist link is here. Here's one link to the Google Photos album. I didn't put the link in all these 3, but you could find them in all different places. So that's what you're going to be doing for Unit 2. And again, that stuff is due next Wednesday. These units go from week to week unless we're doing programming, and it might take 2 weeks for different assignments. But each unit is a week. Now, again, if you have stuff that you turn in late, it's okay. I'm not going to dock points. I'm not going to not accept it or anything like that. I just want to keep you on track. So don't stress out about deadlines and stuff. Don't email me at 11:55 and be like, oh, I almost have it done. Can I have extra time? You can have extra time. Don't worry about it. You can always have extra time. If you didn't take a quiz and it closed and you got a 0 and you got an F on it, I'll open it up. So don't stress out about that. Just try to stay to the schedule and get things done. I realize everybody has different schedules and different obligations going on in their life. So I'm not going to be counting and say, oh, it's 11:56, too late, you failed it. I mean, just get stuff done and try to stick to it. Don't put things off. Don't procrastinate. So this is the stuff for Unit 2. There's 3 hands-on exercises, and then there's a quiz, and then there's a little discussion. That's all you have to do for Unit 2. And then also finish up your Unit 1 stuff. I'll go back to coursework just just to mention that one more time. Finish up your Unit 1 stuff. Your pretest and student survey, just a couple people haven't done that. Email confirmation, there's just a couple people that I'm just waiting for on that. Your student introduction, to post that. If you have any problems, let me know. And also this quiz, even though it says it's due September 15th, you actually have an extra week on that. So get that quiz done. That's on the reading, and I think there's a kind of a lecture on that as well that's in the playlist, I believe. Make sure you watch this thing. So it's based on this thing here. So that's part of the lecture that you can watch for that quiz as well. And then your first exercise was just cropping and editing your photo in your discussion post. So there's a video for that as well. So that's in this playlist as well. So you should be able to find everything in here. Sometimes there's some older stuff. It'll say it's fall 2020 or spring 2020 or something like that. But I don't re-record the video if everything's pretty much the same. But I do try to edit videos if there's things that might confuse you. So if there's anything that confuses you, let me know. But I think everything should be here. I just want to point out where to find things. So these things will be open starting probably tonight, which is the 14th, or by the morning, the 15th, which is Wednesday morning, and then everything will be open here to work on. And remember, that's for the next week. So just wanted to point that out. Just wanted to give you a little overview of Unit 2 coming up. If you have any questions, if you have anything you're stressed about or you're not sure about, just let me know. Just email me. We could take care of it. If you ever need to do a Zoom or go to meeting or anything like that, we could do that. But that's coming up for Unit 2. Whether you're in the W1 section or W2 section, I think I'm looking at the W1 section right now. They're just one class is a little bigger than the other. So good luck with that, and hope you have a good week ahead.